Well, good Tuesday morning to y'all. How you doing? Now, the video I posted yesterday, I know I said I was going to move on to the next house, but I missed a very important story in the last video when we was living on 94th. Now, I'm not sure where my dad got it, but he bought my mother I believe it was a 68 American Motors Ambassador, which, I don't know if you know those cars, but it was like 300 feet long and 80 feet wide. It was a huge car. In all reality, I think they're actually about 20 foot long and about 8 feet wide, or 7 feet. They're pretty big cars. My dad got it, and I think there may have been something wrong with the motor and transmission when he got it, but he went ahead and rebuilt the motor and transmission. And I remember that engine was painted gold because it was it was the stock color for that motor in that year. And the car was a purple. I don't know. It had some pink in it too. It was a neat color, but it was still purple. It had a black top and purple paisley interior. It was late 60s through and through. So anyway, I tell you about that car because I was in first grade, and it was around Christmas time. It was right before Christmas break, and I had one of those Christmas pageant things at school, and I was all excited about it. I must have had a big part in it or something, but I was all excited about it. I don't remember that. But anyway, so my mom was running late, getting home from work, and I'm pacing, freaking out. I'm going to be late, and I can't get there. Well, she comes in the house, or my mom comes in the house. I'm like, all right, we got to go, and I keep pushing her to get out of the house as quickly as we can. And my sister decided to stay home and wait for my dad because he was coming home from work too. And he was going to get her, and then they were going to drive her to the school to catch the pageant or show or whatever the fuck it was. So anyway, me and my mom jump in the car, and this is the early 80s, where seatbelts were an option. You didn't have to wear your seatbelt. In fact, I was sitting, I guess you could say, frog in the front seat. I wasn't sitting down, I was kind of sitting on my haunches. And we come down and get out onto, I can't think of the name of that road. But it was right there at Five Corners. And they call it Five Corners because you used to have 5 roads that run into it. And there was too many accidents there, so they took out one of the roads. So it was a regular intersection. But anyway, we're going down, and I remember I was sitting there and I seen the green light. We're going through that intersection there. I think that's Andreessen. That's the cross street. But anyway, this woman, she was late for a hair appointment. She was in a 70s Cadillac, doing about 60 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. Blew the red light, T-boned us, hit us broadside, right in my mom's door, and threw me against the door. I rolled over the transmission hump, and landed on the accelerator. Well, we were coming across the intersection, when she hit us, of course, the cars turned like this. Then I hit the accelerator on that car, and we tore away from her and ran into a telephone pole right in front of a gas station. Here, there's an Arco gas station right there. But we would have went through the gas station. We didn't hit the telephone pole. So the last thing I remember is seeing the green light. That's the last of my memories. Until I woke up in the ambulance, and my mom was there in the same ambulance. So I don't know what happened. That was a few minutes that my mind just blanked out. I don't know what happened. I probably got knocked out when I fell against the door when the woman hit us, because like I said, I didn't have a seatbelt on. She would have hit us any harder, I might have went flying out the damn window. But anyway, so the accident happened, and my dad comes down that way from work, and he's turned there at that light, and he says, "Dang, that looks like my car. That's a car just like mine." Wait a minute, nobody else in Vancouver has a car like that. So he knew me and my mom had been in an accident. It was a good thing my sister stayed home, because the back seat had flipped up. We're not sure if it flipped up during when the woman hit us or whenever we hit the telephone pole. We hit the telephone pole at about 30 mile an hour. Ruined the engine. Ruined the car. Totaled the damn car. My mom had glass in her head, and I couldn't walk. Well, I could, but my back was in so much pain, I couldn't hardly get off the couch. I can remember my dad coming into my bedroom and picking me up in the morning and carrying me out and laying me on the couch. And I'd lay on the couch all day, because it freaking hurt to move. Somebody'd have to help me up, get me, use the restroom, and then back on the couch. And that was my Christmas break for first grade year. I was kind of thinking that I was going to be a paralyzed kid or something. I think it really messed up. And finally we went to the doctor. It was probably a week or so of me just laying around the house. It probably wasn't, I don't know how long it was. But anyway, went to the doctor, and I shuffled in there. Couldn't, my back hurt so damn bad. Couldn't hardly walk like an old man. And anyway, we go into the doctor there, and the doctor looks at me and is checking me out. He says, "All right." He says, "Stand up straight." And I was still kind of hunched over, so he came over there and stood on my feet together, and put his hands on my shoulders, held me up straight, and then twisted me back and forth. And my back made a popping sound like I ain't never heard before. It sounded like popcorn. But it took all the pressure off and all the pain away. My back was just out of whack for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was. And it hurt me so bad I just couldn't hardly walk. But doctor fixed me with just popping my back, straightened me out, and I can remember leaving the doctor's office, hopping around, happy as I could be, because I wasn't in pain no more and I could actually move. I'm not sure what happened. My parents, sued the lady or what, but I think we just got another car out of it if they did. My mom had glass all on the side of her head and in her hand, and the wild thing was, she was holding the steering wheel like this. When the woman hit her, the door, almost trapped her hand on the steering wheel. She was able to, just barely slide it out. There was just that much room. And my mother's, not a big lady. She's 5 foot tall, from fairly petite. So there wasn't much room between that door and that steering wheel. Yeah, like I said, totaled that car, beat us up pretty good, and I never made it to school that night. As excited as I was about it, I never made it there. But luckily, we were driving that big old tank. If we would have been in something like a Dart, or like a little economy car or something, that one would have drove right through us, killed us both deader than a hammer. So yeah, that was the story I forgot from the last video. And that was a pretty significant time in my life. First major car accident I was ever in. Well, I can't say that because technically I think it was April or March, 1973. A woman hit my mom's car and spun her around. My mother was pregnant with me. Maybe that's what happened to me. I got brain damage from that very, very first accident when I was in utero. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. But anyway, all that aside, we came out of it pretty good. Neither of us really messed up. Mom had to get some stitches in her head, and years later, that jacket she was wearing, she had this black, like, I guess 80s winter jacket. It had fluff around, the fake fur around the collar and around the wrists and by the pockets. I remember we was going through the closet years later, and Mom was getting ready to get rid of stuff, and she saw that jacket and she reached in the pocket, and there was still glass in the pocket from that accident. So yeah, years later. So anyway, y'all have a good day. I'll get this thing posted today, and we'll come back tomorrow and have some more stories. So y'all take it easy and be safe.